There's two.
There we go.
Those two super, super short ones are just, yeah. All right. So, who wants to do the quick catch up from the last game?
I'll try to do it. I feel like I might forget some stuff, honestly,
Okay.
Because I was struggling to remember when I was doing my aspirations. But essentially, we were all gathered at Skunk Ape Migration Museum. Got a letter that said we should probably go to Boxcar Ridge this weekend from an anonymous source. We decided to make a little camping trip with the three of us and Frank, my dad. And so we go out there. First night, nothing real happens. We bring a bunch of Peter's equipment. Nothing of note happens with trail cams, like motion sensor lights or anything like that. But then the next morning, was it the morning?
Yeah.
Yeah, the next morning, we catch the trace of some sort of animal. I can't remember how we got on the track.
We got the big footprint that looked just like a big fucking human.
Yeah, did we just find that? Okay, we found the footprint and we just started following it. And as we followed it, we started to realize there were some like scales that are being stuck right in the treetops. There's some branches. And we followed it to the point that we got to some sort of clearing with a big hole in the ground. And there was 3 skunk apes. A wheel snake that we had found earlier that rolled off to there, and then a pterodactyl. The pterodactyl. We're all grouped around a giant hole in the ground, and it was glowing a bluish thing. And nothing really happened. They just kind of the blue light.
They took
dissipated.
Things into the hole.
Oh, that's right. They jumped in the hole. And took things into the hole. Jumped out. Blue light went away. The animals dissipated. The cryptids dissipated. We decided we were going to go back out there one more time. The next morning, we did that, and we essentially got caught off guard a little bit, and they kind of came up on us when we weren't fully ready. Me and Frank were in a little hunting blind kind of thing that we set up, and Beryl and Peter were caught kind of in the open. To the point that one of the skunk apes had a close encounter, a very touching, quite literally moment with Beryl as it played with her hair, and Peter comforted her. Nothing bad happened.
The glow is purple. That second day.
Yeah, the glow is purple. Oh, and we looked inside the hole the first or second day. Realized there was a computer monitor, an old one. There was Donald Duck like plushie thing. Something that looks like you'd find like a thrift store, crate for some reason.
Was it a plushie or was it a figurine? I thought it was a figurine.
Oh, it might have been. I imagine it was a plushie.
On the first day, I think I said it was like an action figure kind of thing, and the second day it was like a little like a baby toy, like it weeble wobbled.
Yeah.
A little weeble. Okay, all right. Still, regardless, you find it at a thrift store in the like $1 section, toy section.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also like one of the skunk apes, stole something from a church,
like some sort of little purple, like cloth.
Yeah, like an altar cloth.
Yeah. Right, an altar cloth. So, one of them went into some church and snagged
or the revival. The tent revival that was going on.
Yeah. So, and then, ironically enough, there was as we left, there was a youth revival. A bunch of Jesus is cool, and my best friend is Jesus type going out for a camping trip.
Abstinence is awesome.
We're gonna go camping, co-ed, but absence is good.
So I remember
mixed signals.
It doesn't count as long as it's not P&B.
Yeah, exactly. So I remember back in the day when like YOLO was like the word to say. There was one of those like those shirts that Christians in high school would wear that was like like Jesus Christ, like Jesus-y parody shirts. That like nobody thought was funny, but it was like a coded uniform to let all the other Christians at your school know that you're a Christian and we can hang out and talk about God. But it said YOLO and it had Jesus, like a little cartoon squatch.
God, no!
Chibi Jesus running out of his tomb saying "psych" with like some relevant Bible quote to that.
That's pretty hip.
YOLO, Jesus Christ, Leviticus.
My God.
Yeah, I should have bought that. There's two T-shirt regrets in my life. That one and this one that had, obviously you could only see this in Fannin County. out deep in the south, a pair of giant hands like this. Okay. And in the giant hands is Robert E. Lee on horseback. And behind Robert E. Lee on horseback in the giant hands is a halo of light. And behind all of that is the waving Confederate flag with "He's in God's army now."
Peter will to attack. What are we doing? I'm sorry. Presented.
No, that's fine.
If we see this person,
I'm buying that shirt off his back. I'm washing it, but I'm buying it off him. Okay, so that and the tent revival, all that good stuff. So we're gonna say about a day later, you guys reconvene at the Skunk Ape migration. Mm-hmm. It's basically, for intents and purposes, it's going to be the Scooby Gang HQ. And they're all gathered around. So Peter, your gear, is it like high tech enough to be on computers, or is it like you're popping in VHS tapes into a VCR?
I mean, it's enough to be on a computer running certain types of OSs.
Why did that make me laugh?
Is it on floppy?
No. I mean, no. But if you're running the latest Windows, you're not going to be able to generally probably use my tech. That's fine, because I don't update my computers past what I need them for. That's the way I live, and that's the way Peter lives.
It's still rocking Windows XP. So
I was imagining like Emmy or something. Where?
Oh no, he's experienced that, but he can't go that far.
Okay.
Peter's all like, how come no one talks to me on AOL Instant Messenger anymore?
It's so quiet.
Such a good platform.
Peter has his ICQ open and he just doesn't get any replies.
It's like, it's not that nobody likes him. He just has no idea. He just has no idea that no one uses those. So, everybody's gathered there. Frank is accompanying y'all. And, they're pretty much gathered around. Like, you haven't really looked at I'm going to say you haven't looked at the footage yet. You're kind of wanting, a crowd be like, haha, look at what we've caught. Mm-hmm. So you're pulling it up and from the trail cam footage. And once again, it's pretty much identical to what happened last time when you tried to, when you take pictures or try to get any kind of like footage. It gets staticky and the footage gets really warped on these weird random intervals. And it's just like, thinking back on the mornings that you guys would do, saw the skunk apes and the pterodactyl and the hoop snakes. Like it, but for all intents and purposes, like it was around the time when they were there. And I mean, all other footage is fine. Like you guys wondering about, setting up everything, perfectly clear. But, there's like a brief, couple of minutes where it's just fuzzy, grainy, warpy, wavy. And then it's just suddenly not. And you see Jeb and Frank going up to it and, kind of doing this kind of thing to, turn it off and disassemble it.
Peter, does that happen for some reason? Is it like an electromagnetic kind of thing, or is that just do you know?
Well, I've never heard of a skunk ape, or I mean, we have to look at it in this way. We had 3 different creatures in one location, and none of them came through solidly. So to ask if one of them were magnetic or whatnot, which I can't discount because I don't have any proof or conjecture, it would be saying that all of them were. So are pterodactyls magnetic?
Well, I mean, they were all exposed to the same, like they were in that same area. But then again, we didn't catch any of it coming back. But
Beryl, you make a point though. It could be the area, but also if you'll remember, my attempts to capture photos from before that area also had the same effect.
Yeah, so it could be some sort of source of power or something like that with that,
This could be because they've had prolonged exposure to that area, but to figure that out, I'd need to find. I need to take a couple of registars back to that site to see if I can pick up different waves or whatnot, and that's just another whole day.
Frank goes, "You think it's?" So this is a bit of a crazy idea. So you think of like that classic picture of Bigfoot, right? Where he's doing that kind of thing.
Oh, you mean this one? And he just literally
the original.
And
I'm gonna say you own the original. No one believes it, but it is the original.
Oh, Peter
Love
would
it.
have bought that online thinking he did. Franklin, if you will, skunk ape.
Oh, I mean, I'm not talking about. Well, I'm talking about those guys, but I'm using it as an example with our buddy Sasquatch over there. And Sasquatch just kind of waves. So he's like, you think of
Jesus Christ, the pictures on
and he goes, you think of like the picture of the Loch Ness monster, and it could be anything. What if those actually like are pictures and not like fakes? But there's like maybe there's something like when you try and take a picture of those kinds of things, like any of them.
Well, I mean, there's look, at this point, my friends, we've all seen this with our own eyes. Like, no one within this museum right now, barring Bast, is going to deny what we saw out in the woods.
Bass just goes meow.
Oh, I know, sweetie. I know. Next time. But with that being said, again, at this point, I have to take the scientific route. And I mean, we can theorize all we want, and every theory is a good one. But unless I test the theory, that's all we've got right now.
Well, could it be that it's not even testable? That it's magic?
Well, there's the whole any technology advanced enough is indistinguishable from magic, right? Maybe these skunk apes are just.
I mean,
robots. They're cyborgs.
I mean, and Peter actually stands up and writes "cyborgs?" on his dry erase board that he keeps kind of a bunch of things on. He's I mean,
we're not discounting anything.
Oh, no. I don't. At this point, we have found a point, so I won't discount anything. I'm writing it all down. But, I mean, magic, in the last 4 months, we have encountered ghosts, shitty wizards, werewolves that talk to ghosts, and evil spider people.
And evil rat creatures.
I mean, magic, Jeb, magic is not too far off from here, I would say.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah.
I think at this point, like, pretty much anything goes.
Yeah. I mean
to coin a phrase, my friends, we're through the looking glass.
Yeah. So then we got to figure out. Well, go ahead.
Oh no, you go first. I'll always role playing will always take precedence.
Well, I was just gonna say, I mean, does it matter that we get pictures from here on out? Since we know we've seen it with our own eyes, it really doesn't matter if we get pictures anymore. I mean, because we've seen them. So now I think we need to proceed with what is going on. We don't have to get documentation as much as I know you want to, Peter, and as much as it mean to your museum. I think the force and the effort should be put towards figuring out why they're congregating like that.
I know, Jeb. I fully agree with you. The only other type of photography I'd like to try is either a negative photograph or a heat signature photograph. But we can deal with that as we plan. I mean, we know where they congregate. I don't believe they're violent. I can't speak for the pterodactyl or the hoop snakes, but I do not believe the skunk apes are violent. I just can't.
I mean,
the pterodactyl, like, as weird as it sounds, the pterodactyl and the hoop snake things, they seem to be in cahoots. Like, they didn't. Yeah, it's the only really word I got.
I was trying to.
They didn't attack you or anything, Beryl. So it's like, look, I don't know about any of this.
But I had a feeling like it could have gone terribly wrong, and maybe that's just me being like wildly pessimistic and terrified. But
Rightfully so.
You know,
Miss Beryl, things can go wrong in any situation, but at this point, I think we all have to remember that we all have each other's backs.
And like, I trust y'all, of course. Like, it's just that I don't necessarily know these creatures enough to trust. And I know that Peter, like, this is your life's work, and that you deeply believe that the skunk apes are like completely pacifistic, but I just don't know them well enough. So I trust that you believe that. I believe that you believe that. I just I guess sort of trust but verify. So
I think we should just proceed with caution.
Yeah.
Just get ready for both encounters. If if we go south and they become a little more aggressive than we think. And Peter, maybe something possesses them to go against their nature and become aggressive. So we don't know. Again, anything's possible. So they could be naturally pacifist, but then something
maybe they ate some
controls
bad
them.
berries or whatever.
That's right. They take a bad trip and then they start becoming crazy. Who knows?
Yeah.
So.
Of course. And when saying that, Peter like kind of goes and picks up Bast and sets her in Beryl's lap, and just puts a hand on Beryl and says, "Beryl, I'm going to make you this promise right now, and I'll say this to both of you as well. Though this is my life's work, and I am glad to have confirmed it.
Yes.
If anything raises a hand to you, I will be there to protect you."
Thank you, Peter. That's so sweet.
Peter,
I'm gonna pet Bast just so I don't like lose.
She's very comforting.
Oh yeah,
thank you.
She's just doing that kind of thing that cats do. They just close their eyes and they're just purring.
You're a good man, Peter. You're a good man.
At the entrance to the skunk ape migration, you hear a hearty roar.
Oh, okay. Hang on, and he puts on like his kind of Dr. Livingston explorer's hat, because he's already in his general kind of survivor-looking gear, and he walks out. Hello.
And greeting you at the door is a young man who, well, not terribly long ago, he would have been rocking some really greasy dreads, a really kind of wispy goatee, a jersey of an athletic jersey, but clearly he's never really played sports. But today his hair is cut short. He's still wearing the goatee. It still looks trashy, but it's clean trashy. And he is wearing a white button-up shirt and a black tie and khaki pants. And he says, "Good afternoon, Mr. Peter."
What the fuck?
Well, I'm. Excuse me. Do I know you, young man? You look like someone I may have met. Have you been to the museum before?
He's like, "Well, of course we've met, good sir."
Oh God!
I hate this already.
It's terrible.
Oh God!
He says, "Not too long ago, you knew me by my street name of Rat before I started."
Oh goodness!
Oh goodness!
You've cut your hair.
He says, "Indeed I have, because I realized that I was hanging with the wrong crowd, Peter."
Was it the deadly rat creature, the drugs, or the court system that taught you that lesson?
Maybe it was a little bit of everything. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe I made a few, really bad mistakes before then, and he kind of tucks his hand in his pocket, but you still see, he went through with the Bechalou tattoos on his fingers.
Oh God.
Well, I assume you're not here to see the museum, so maybe just come back with everyone else, I guess. Everyone's here.
He's like, "Well, actually, Mr. Peter, I have a is the group that saved my life, or is everybody in there?"
Yes. We're missing.
He kind of peeks his head through and sees Beryl and Frank and Jeb, and he's like, "Hey guys."
Oh, Peter.
Hello.
Yeah, Peter steps out of his way and issues him towards his office.
He goes right up to Jeb and like, shakes his hand, like, the 2-hand shake, the very, thank you for coming to our service. And
Jeb then immediately realizes who he is once he gets a handshake from him. He's like, God damn, son, what have you done to yourself?
He cut his hair.
I mean, more than just that.
Yeah, Jeb was going to say but then holds his tongue.
He goes, well, I cut my hair, but I realized I was going down a really bad path, and if there's rat monsters and drug addicts, I mean, maybe there's also something else, something good out there. you have something to say, Beryl?
Can't. Oh, okay. All right, sure.
Peter's listening, but he's also preparing, like, with his he's like just making a pot of tea.
I think I'm probably like holding back, just like.
Well, take a seat, Rat. I'm glad to hear that you kind of turned your life around a little bit. That's surprising. And exciting. But yeah, please take a seat. What do you come here for?
He goes, oh, you don't have to call me Rat anymore. You can call me you can call me Daniel from now on.
Oh, okay, Daniel. Daniel.
He's
okay,
like,
Daniel.
He says, yeah, you didn't think my parents named me Rat, did you?
Well, it's one of those things that you never think about because the name just fits so well. But then when you change it, kind of just throws you for a loop a little bit. But yeah, Daniel's a great name. That's very nice.
He goes, well. He's like, well, I came here to thank all of you for saving my life, and I figure, what if I could do the same for you?
I'm sorry?
Are you saying our life's in danger?
He's like, not necessarily your lives, but what if I told you? And he reaches back and opens up his backpack and pulls out a couple of pamphlets. And he's like, what if I told you your eternal soul is in danger?
Oh, God damn it. It's like, you ain't one of those ones that comes on my property all the time.
He's like, please understand. This is coming from a really good place.
Okay, Rat. I mean, Daniel. I'll humor you. What is it you want from us?
He's like, well, so I've kind of gotten involved with the church community over the past week and a half. And it's really opened my eyes.
That was quick, dude.
It's like, sometimes it's right there in your community and you don't even notice it. But, well, there's something going on. I mean, like, there's been a lot of stuff going on here. I mean, you guys have seen it. There's been giant rat monsters. There's been werewolves. Apparently there were some ghosts or some stuff. I think I heard you guys talking about that.
Peter walks over to Daniel and hands him a cup of tea, just like, yes, things have been happening, and you've been not telling everyone about those things, right, Daniel?
He goes, oh, no. I'm straight. I'm not going to tell anybody any of that stuff. That's nobody's business. Who'd believe me, right?
Not even like your pastor or something?
Well, that's kind of one of the things I wanted to talk about. There's a guy who's come in. He's doing a bit of a tent revival. Apparently, he's got some he's got some kind of experience with this kind of stuff.
He has experience with mythological things, or
I'd say so. I was checking out his website before he came in, and he's like, apparently, he can like heal people just by touching them. Like some of his congregations, they're like bleeding from their hands and stuff.
What exactly does that have to do with what we do?
Well, I mean, if your hand
kind of different phenomenon.
I mean, if you guys are hanging around like werewolves and magic monsters and stuff, I mean, maybe a little bit of Jesus will do you some good.
I'll be honest, Rat. I mean, Daniel. I'll be honest, Daniel. I don't think Jesus has anything to do with what's going on here. We've seen some things that I would used to think supernatural, but they seem very natural now. I don't think Jesus has any part in, the shenanigans that are occurring.
At which point he just, he sits there and he thinks for a second. He's like, "That's fine." It took me a while to realize the error of my ways too.
Oh,
no. and he sets a couple of pamphlets down on the coffee table, and he's like, but at least give it a little bit of thought. It's the least I can do after you guys help save me.
I appreciate it, Daniel. I really do. Let me ask you this one more question. I won't hold you any longer. Goodness gracious, the word I'm thinking of. Church do you belong to?
Denomination, perhaps?
Denomination. Or... Thank you.
Yes, that's a good question.
He goes, "What's a denomination?"
You know what? Never mind.
What's your pastor's? What's the guy who's doing the tent revival? What's his name?
His name's Freddie Thomas.
Freddie Thomas. Okay, and you said he's got a website?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And he goes by Pastor Freddie Thomas?
Yeah, Pastor Freddie Thomas.
Okay.
Right.
Well, Rat,
good information to have.
Daniel, thanks for stopping by. Seriously, it means a lot to thank us. It wasn't anything that we did for gratitude, but it was nice seeing you anyway.
He's like, "Well, thanks, guys, and God bless." And he goes and shakes all of your hands with the double handshake.
I'm petting Bass with one hand, so I don't have to get the double. Like, I can try to keep away from this. Ugh.
All right, and he's gone.
That feels creepier than almost anything else we've seen. Not the most creepy, but
Frank goes, I mean, if we see him again, I'm still gonna call him Rat.
I mean, Franklin, that's within your right. And Peter's saying that he's already out of the office in his little his library space, and he's like pulling out books already that are basically like he kind of brings them over and puts them on the coffee table that's in his office, and he's like, they're all books on like kind of, hey, religious hoaxes or ways to like kind of, it's like, yeah, they're just books on basically exposing people they're trying to sham religion.
I love it. Like Creflo Dollar and all those.
He has like season 5 of Penn Teller's bullshit that he puts on the table. And he's just like, all right, I think that's everything I have on. I mean, sorry, was I presumptuous? He said people are bleeding from their hands. He said miracles are happening. And this is what I have on shamsters that have used various religious types and tricks to trick people into believing certain miracles.
I want to pull up on my phone this dude's website if I can find it.
Well, I'm going to start with the thing that's literally right before us, the pamphlet that Daniel put down in front of us. I'm going to read the pamphlet.
Yeah, so you're reading it, and it's a lot of it is fairly standard kind of stuff. You'd think, like like vaguely hinting at the end times are near. Are you prepared? But like it's not like a chick tract where it's just like like a
man.
It's not like one. It's not. It's a little bit more tasteful, and
I'm going to control him with my D&D mind power.
And I mean, it's not like a chick tract. And but the actual imagery is like really pleasant sunshine, things like that. I mean, like overall, it's got like a fairly warm message, and like you open it and it's got a picture of this Freddie Thomas, and like he's got that kind of face that you can tell he's at least 60, but like he's like solidly built. Like he's got like a strong jaw, like just whitish, silverish hair that's just completely slicked back, and the kind of tanned face that you can't tell if he's ever had a facelift it wouldn't surprise you if he did. Like, there's like no wrinkles on his face at all, but there's just something about like the way he looks that just radiates. This guy is at least in his 60s, but he carries himself extremely well, Like even in his picture, like it's got that kind of confidence.
Yeah, he's a little older than Peter, and I'm not gonna lie, Peter's probably just like,
Yeah, I mean, in all honesty,
aesthetically, yeah, he sounds fine.
Yeah, I mean,
not my jam,
but guy, he's got like a suit on and stuff, typical past, clean shaven. And yeah, there's a website at the bottom of it, along with like, some kind of like contact information and stuff.
Okay, let's pull up that website and see what Rat was talking about with people.
Okay, yeah,
nodding or whatever.
It's literally just like it's just pastorfreddy.org. He actually managed to get an organizational website.
Oh well.
Yeah, religious. Imagine that. It's pretty much exactly what you're thinking of. Professionally done, whoever's done it. I mean, it doesn't look like like a higher end GeoCities website.
It doesn't have a bunch of like sparkly gifs and shit on it.
No sparkly gifs and stuff. Like it's very much like whoever he's got, whatever webmaster he's got, they clearly understand that this kind of stuff needs to be taken seriously, if whatever, And the thing is though, let's say roll intelligence and academics or investigation. If you do academics, it's going to be at like a negative. Academics, investigation, or occult. If you do occult, it's going to be at a +1. Investigation, it's going to be at a -2. And academics, it's going to be at a -1.
I'm going to go with the cult then.
Yep. I have one more dot in the cult. And you said that if it was a cult, it's +1?
Yeah.
Okay.
Honestly, I was just going to say Beryl make that roll since she's the one that's kind of screwed up on her phone and you just kind of go through it.
I was going to let them all look, but okay.
Beryl,
so I got
have at
it. 2. Oh shit! Keep going. Yeah. Damn. Okay. All right. So that's 4 total.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So
tens in a row there.
Here's the thing that you've found that is you said you rolled a cult.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you've seen, morbid curiosity and stuff. You've seen traditional Christian, websites for churches and stuff like that. I mean, it's North Georgia. You probably had some friends show these kinds of things to you. You notice
as a former neo-pagan, like people were trying to convert Beryl at some point. So
yeah, and like I mean, you've seen the kinds of stuff like the pictures of missionary work and stuff like that. Please donate. The kind of here's the thing: there are no pictures of missionary work. There is no link for donations.
Weird.
No tithing.
That's fucking creepy. Almost.
Now here's
for money.
Yeah. Now here's the thing: the pictures you found, they're high quality. And whatever kind of camera rig they got. I mean, this is like sports stadium high quality. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not. These are clearly not just photos that are taken with like your cell phone.
So if he's not getting donations. And they have this very, very nice. Where is the money coming from?
Maybe he's independently wealthy.
Maybe.
Independently.
There's also a page of videos that under a heading that just says "Faith in Action."
Okay, well, let's take a fucking look at this shit.
Everyone crowds around her cell phone.
I make sure games. Okay.
Beryl, you can get something newer than an iPhone 4 with a bigger screen.
Yeah, that costs money, honey. So the tips have not been great lately.
So and again, this is not it's not kind of some ratty thing shot on a camera. You see, it's a hospital. It is a hospital. There are doctors around, and it shows this Pastor Freddie Thomas waiting. Basically just like walking towards, and like everyone just seems to kind of like part away from him, even though they don't seem to be aware that he's there. Like they just seem to be moving to get out of his way without knowing that they're moving to get out of his way. And he's going up to this person in a hospital, and this person is screaming, and they have what looks like a huge gash like across their chest. Like, I mean, they're having to hold this person down. And Pastor Freddie Thomas, you see him like his hands are bandaged, and he unwraps the bandages, and you don't really see much of anything, but he touches he holds his hands on the body, and like the wounds close.
What the fuck?
And then, like, once they're closed, the person,
like how close on this are? Well, we're close enough that we can see this.
The
obviously,
camera is
right?
essentially like following him from behind the whole time.
Huh.
And then, like, yeah, like, I mean, it like the wounds like just perfectly closed, not even any scars, like no scar tissue, no puffing or anything like that. Like the blood basically vaporizes. And at which point, you know, the doctor, everybody goes quiet, and then like the camera basically like, you know, keeps following Pastor Freddie as he just walks away and leaves, and everybody's just staring at him, and then it just cuts off.
That was some wild shit. I mean, Rat might have been onto something with this being some supernatural spooky stuff.
Oh no, yeah, the way computer technology is, you know, these days. I mean, I've seen some movies that look damn near real. So I mean, it could just be some editing, right?
It could be.
Well, but Jeb, keep in mind before I believe Mr. Daniel, I still can't get over that haircut. Before he came
Looks
in,
so different, like a different person.
Well, why did he keep the goatee?
Yeah. Ugh.
He's like, I'm still gonna call him Rat. He's, I mean, kid might be good, might be a good kid, but he's still a ratty little son of a bitch.
well, before he came in, we were even discussing the probability of magic. I mean, it would be foolish of us to just discard magic with all we've seen.
Yeah,
that's true. I'm just so hesitant with these kind of things. I mean, y'all seen, you know, the preachers that hit people on the head and they just fall down, or they like spit on them and release the demons. I mean, there's so much, you know, showmanship to it. It's just so hard to believe when maybe this guy is real. It's hard to believe it though, because there's so many, you know, frauds out there. I mean,
yeah, but I mean,
where is this power coming from? I guess.
Yeah, and that's the thing that Beryl was talking about, like with his video, that there's no links to, you know, any kind of donations or missionary work, or I mean, even on that video, like, I mean, he just touched the person. He didn't smack him. He didn't do anything crazy. He just held his hands on him.
It looked like the typical kind of showmanship you get from that type of thing. So
and waiting into like a hospital.
Well, I understand this is all interesting, but I have to ask, I don't believe this is connected to our current case.
I will say, though, if he's the one leading out that revival next or close to Boxcar Ridge where we saw that incident, I can't help but to think that it's somehow related. That just seems, you know, too coincidental to be a coincidence. You know
the proximity, yeah, is pretty kind of spooky.
And Peter walks over to his dry erase board where he had written Jeb's comment earlier, and he's like, "But there's too many factors we don't know to link the two. Who sent me that letter saying that we should go to Boxcar Ridge? How long has this meeting of skunk apes and other supernatural crypto creatures been happening? It could have been happening long before these people. I mean, there's just too many variables to link the two."
I mean, much as I don't want to go to any kind of church thing, really, maybe we should check this shit out.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I've been to my fair share of, you know, Sunday dinners and, you know, Sunday services, you know, going with friends and whatnot. It's not too bad, you know, even if you don't believe it or buy into it. You know, usually the folks are real nice. It's just a little, you know, it'll be fine. It'll be fine, Beryl. You know, it'll be fine. I think we need to meet this fella. And just get a read on them. You know, we don't have to tell them we're into hunting, you know, things that creep in the night. But, you know, we should
I'll
go to
let
all
you
the
do
services.
the talking then, because I'm afraid I'm going to say something.
While I'm not for or against religion as a whole, I feel that, yes, if you want to meet this gentleman, why don't we go? But I want to go specifically try to keep them from going to the, I guess I'll call it the skunk ape meeting clearing.
Well, I think it's actually good. You know, I hate splitting us up, but I think that might be what needs to happen. Where you kind of run a crowd control and kind of keep that little secret a secret, and then I can maybe do a little investigative work. You know, with Beryl and Frank, or whoever who's willing to come with me.
Well, then I'll come with y'all. If we all want to go to a tabernacle, I guess
may not be the operative word here, but I think we might glean some information and see if there is some kind of if this is legit, and if maybe there is some kind of connection to the stuff that's going on with the crypto critters.
Well, then I guess we're going to get some religion, Frank says, as he turns this part of the recording off.